is 9:44 right now, and we're celebrating Pride Month all month long here at Cron 4. And this morning, we want to highlight a unique Pride celebration that's happening right here in the Bay Area, one that's actually led by LGBT seniors. It all kicks off on June 17th. And here to talk all about it, I'm joined by three of the event's organizers, Grace Damon, Zoe Borkowski, and Winnie De La Zoya. Welcome to the show. Winnie, I'm so sorry. I butchered your last name.
De Loisa.
De Loisa. Appreciate you guys all coming in this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, before we get into the event itself, which is really incredible, the journey that each of you have had and the giving back to the LGBT community for years, for decades now, is something I really want to acknowledge as well. And I think we need to do more of, especially with our LGBT seniors and allies. Winnie, talk to me about your journey with the LGBT community and your giving back.
Yeah, really, it starts in the 1980s. And we began with a women's building in Albany, New York. And I was a member of the board of Holding Our Own, which was a small foundation, which helped to buy the building for the women. And the organization allowed social space for women to get together and to explore who they were in some ways. And also we had other kinds of things that we're doing there. They had programs with alcoholism, and they had programs for women that had been abused as children, and just so many different types of programs at the Women's Building that it became a center for social change in Albany during the 80s and 90s. And it lasted until the year 2000, which is quite amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Grace, your work brought you into the heart of the AIDS pandemic, and you were actually acknowledged by the Dalai Lama for some of your work.
Thank you. Yes, I went to medical school when I was 35. That's when I decided to start, and I started at San Francisco General. It just coincided with the beginning of the AIDS epidemic. So by definition, I became an AIDS expert. I also have an HIV-infected child. But I think the women's community in San Francisco helped to support the gay epidemic. I mean, helped to take care of most of the gay men. I mean, that really was our job. What we thought, what we felt from our heart of hearts was our job. And I think we became very close. And it's interesting to know that the first Gay Pride Day was in 1970 in New York City and in San Francisco. Harvey Milk was killed in the fall of 1978. And, you know, then AIDS began in 1981. So San Francisco in particular has really been the heart of the epidemic, heart of gay culture throughout the United States. I think that's true to say. And I think that's what we bring to the Redwoods also. I mean, we're only 3, but I would imagine that within the seniors population at the Redwoods, probably there are more than 10% who are gay. Yeah. And that's unlike anywhere else in the country, because nationally only 3% people over 50 self-identify as gay. Or LGBTQ, I should say.
Yeah. And if the 3 of you are representative of the community there, I can imagine how beautiful that community is. Zoe, talk to us about your journey and your...
My partner, Audrey Dowdy, was a friend of Patrick James, who was a Powers model who was dying of AIDS. And she developed, and I helped her develop AIDS benefits counselors. And at the beginning of the AIDS crisis, it was a question of getting information and sharing information. He had knowledge about the whole process of making an appeal in Social Security. So they developed this agency that provided information that was looked for throughout the country in terms of how to deal with appeals with Social Security. What do you do? Do you take a leave? Do you quit? What do you do, you know? So it was an era of not a lot of knowledge, but a lot of information sharing, you know.
Yes.
And I was a part of that. I was very proud to be a part of it. I later became, after she passed away, I became a member of the board, and it merged into AIDS benefits counselors merged into, oh dear, what's the name of it? It's terrible. Pardon me? Positive Resource Center, yeah,
Right.
which has been a very active program in terms of helping and being a support service to people with AIDS.
Yeah. Well, now for the three of you to be in such a community, seeing the times that you saw, times where there was so much stigma, so much hurt, you get to see so many of your neighbors there in the community, the Redwoods, being celebrated now. And your upcoming event is part of that. Winnie, tell us about what's going on at the Redwoods.
Well, it's just wonderful. They're going to have the gay male chorus that will come. But just let me say something about when we do the Pride thing. Everybody turns up. I mean, everybody comes, everybody dances,
So much fun.
everybody has a good time. It is, I think, in some ways, the best event that happens on the patio for the whole year. And so I'm looking really forward to this one particularly.
And this is certainly not the first year.
No.
How many years has it been going on, Grace?
I have no idea. I've been there for 9 years.
4 years.
4 years, okay.
You're kidding. I thought we had one when I first came. No, we didn't. Anyway, William, I think, made that number up.
Yeah.
I think it's been longer. William is the first person who brought drag queens in.
Yeah.
You should see these little old ladies, age 97, try to slip a dollar bill into the drag queen's bosom. It's hysterical. It is really hysterical. And, you know, their caretaker, often their caretaker has to reach over and put the dollar bill in. But these are women I would never expect to do that kind of, and they're just having the time of their lives.
I love it that there's this opportunity for all the residents there, whether allies, whether part of the LGBT community, to be part of this celebration. What does that mean to you, Zoe, to see the community come together like this?
Well, it's unique for me. I was born and raised in East Oakland, where I was very naive and inexperienced and what have you. And to come where I'm open and other people are open about their gayness is a very heartwarming for me. And it's exciting to see the whole community come out and for maybe the first time ever see somebody who was a cross-dresser or who was performing as a woman, as a man, for heaven's sakes, you know? And engaging in that in a very healthy way. And it's reassuring that times have changed from when I was young, and I was afraid even to speak out about my gayness, you know? Yeah. When I went to a bar, I always said at the back, because if the police came, I could get out the back door, you know? Yeah. So that's no longer true.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for all the work that you each have done through the decades. And this is a time for each of you to just enjoy on the 17th. And want to encourage our viewers, too, to enjoy this experience with you, because the event is open to the public.
Right. It's open to the public. Yeah. And tickets usually cost $60, and it's free.
Yeah.
And it's free.
That is wonderful.
Come and join.
Yeah, so
Join us.
The event going on the 17th at 3 p.m. at 40 Camino Alto in Mill Valley, California, there at the Redwoods. Again, this year it is free, and I think that is just incredible. So if you want to see the Gay Men's Chorus, you want to meet these three firsthand and just celebrate Pride with them, it is an open invite to do so. Thank you each for coming in.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll be right back after the break.
Thank you so much for